Hi everyone, and welcome to the People Show. Today's topic we're going to be talking about empowerment and the important areas of our communities, mainly focusing on women and the youth. Today, talking with this topic, I have MayaSpoken. Hi Maya.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience before we get started.
My name is MayaSpoken, and I'm a spoken word artist from right here in Ottawa. I'm also the founder of Tell 'em Girl and Loud Black Girls, and I'm also the author of the poetry book Warriors in Broad Daylight.
Nice. So can you tell me a little bit about Tell 'em Girls, please?
Yes. So around almost 2 years ago now, actually, I decided to found the group Tell 'em Girl because I really saw a need in our community for women to have their voices empowered. And for myself, it's always been through spoken word poetry that I was able to find my voice. And so I just thought to myself, I wonder how many other artists we have in the city that are looking for a place where they can express themselves. And so I just kind of went on Facebook and put together a little Facebook page. I called it Tell 'em Girl because that's just kind of how I talk.
Yeah,
you
just tell it.
But yeah, and then from there it just kind of blew up, and we've been having showcases ever since.
Yeah, because I think the first time I heard you was the event called Paint and Drip.
Yeah,
Sip and Drinks.
Paint and Sip. Drip and Paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were, when you went on the stage, I just remember everyone like this. Yes. So it was really good. So it's just to see that like your words are so powerful that they capture, like everyone in the room was so captured by the words you were saying. And the funny thing is like you didn't even know what to name that poem.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to name. It was like, it was just so beautiful. And my thing is, how did you find your voice in the words that you speak?
Personally, for me, growing up, I didn't really have anywhere to express myself vocally. I did do a lot of poetry before I even knew what spoken word was. And I think it was in elementary school or middle school, our teacher gave us an assignment to present a poem to the class.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to hip hop and all that stuff, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a poem that's a bit of a different style.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't remember what it was about, but I remember everyone being like, whoa, like what kind of style is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but like this is what I do. And I realized that writing poetry and performing it had become an outlet for me to say whatever was on my mind at whatever time. As a Black woman experiencing a lot of injustice in our communities, I also found it as a way for me to share those experiences in an artistic form, which in some ways is the only way we actually get to express ourselves or have a seat at the table. And so through spoken word, that's kind of where I found my voice, not only in the artistic way, but as an entrepreneur and in other different ways as well. And seeing the impact that it had on other people listening is what fueled me to keep going and keep sharing my story and keep doing spoken word.
And why do you mainly focus on the youth and women?
I think mainly for me because so many of the things that I had to overcome, the adversities that I was facing, was when I was a youth and a woman. So that's why they're so dear to my heart. I spend a lot of time also mentoring young women, and so because I'm so close to them, that's kind of where I felt called to really work with.
That's good. So we talk about women empowerment. What does that mean to you, especially here in Ottawa? How do you see that? Is it something that still needs to be targeted, or something that is stable, but we just need to kind of like lift it up more?
I think systemically there are a lot of issues that we have that women are facing in Ottawa, whether it be in workplaces or just different environments. A lot of the times there are women facing these issues and they don't even know, and they feel like they're the issue most of the time. And so I feel like just from a systemic point of view, there's definitely a lot of work to be done, but also in the confidence that our girls have right now in our community is, I feel like at an all-time low with what they're seeing on social media, on TV and in the news. They're constantly being fed things that are not uplifting to them. And so that's why I really think it's important to have these events and to have these spaces where women are uplifting each other instead of tearing each other down, because that's what we're taught to do in the media, is constantly tear down women. especially in the media right now where we're talking a lot about different cases, different things are being highlighted right now. The focus is still women and what they're doing wrong. Even if women are going out of their way to bring light to issues, it's always, they should have done it this way, they should have done it that way. And so I think where we really need to start to tear down these systemic, I want to say institutions that are kind of built up to bring women down.
No, that's actually true, especially like the social media part is, I cannot imagine going through high school having Instagram. Having people there just recording everything you're doing, especially for like, I would say especially for Black women, there's still the, like, even in the movie, there's still the stereotypes that you see about the angry Black woman or the woman that just lets anything go. So it is very like, it's like hard to see, and that's why I think a lot of people are having stuff for the youth, especially like young women, trying to build them up, and especially like what you're doing is kind of like your poetry empowers them, says that, you know, you are beautiful the way you are, be who you are. So I think that's very, very powerful to like just show like young girls, like, you know, because I found that it's I think especially in Ottawa, I don't think we have that strong of a community here compared to other places. So it's nice to see that there are young girls out there doing what you're doing and helping like young girls in the community. It's really amazing to me.
Thank you. It's definitely it's definitely important for us to have right now, because I remember for myself, growing up in elementary school, I was in French immersion. And I was the only Black girl in my class for a very long time. And for a while, I was the only Black person in my class, like, at all. And so I was constantly being taunted for my hair or my skin color. I remember we'd play 7-Up, or the teacher would turn off the lights, and someone always had to make the joke, like, oh, where did Maya go? Or like, we can see your teeth, or something like that. And and growing up through this, you start to get frustrated, because it's like, why am I being treated like this amongst my peers? As a Black kid growing up, I'm not looking at everybody like they're white. But the white kids growing up are looking at me like I'm Black. And I'm not aware of this. And this builds up a frustration, and I think a lot of our girls fall victim to this, where by the time they reach high school, they're very, very upset. They don't feel safe at school, and they become criminalized by teachers for their behavior, when really they just need an ear to listen to them.
So what do you think that can be done in, I would say, schools to, like, I guess, protect their innocence?
I think definitely in schools, what we really need, especially in the Ottawa region, is more diversity in our school boards. There's no reason why in a city like Ottawa, where we talk about how diverse it is, a school should be 95% white faculty. There's just no reason why that should be. Kids need to see representation in their schools. They need to have teachers that look like them, so that they feel like they belong. When a kid enters into a situation and they're the only one like them, they immediately feel like, what's going on here? You don't feel like you can share the same things that other students can. You don't feel like you can act the same way other students can. And in a lot of these situations, some of these teachers are old enough to be back when you know, racism was much worse than it is now. And they're still imposing that thought process on kids without realizing it. And so I think we really need to have standard training for teachers when it comes to race, and how to deal with diversity in their schools, and how to make every student feel accepted.
No, I agree that, especially the moment when you see, I can remember just being in high school, and if I got in trouble, not saying that I got in like bad trouble, but like if I got like, I don't know, like detention, or like kind of you did something bad, you had to go in the room, and they had, I forgot what it was called, but like you go in the room, you had the principal there, the teacher, where you got in trouble with, and they were all like, no one like was like representing. So I kind of felt like, are they even gonna listen to me? Like, I don't know if that's safe to speak. So I know how hard that could be on someone, and like think about on a Black kid growing up, it's just building up, and then one day they just explode.
Exactly.
And then like, why would he explode? Oh, it's because, you know, maybe where he's from or this. It's like, no, it's like all the build up that's been happening.
There's an underlying
issue. You just have to listen. It's like, I think the root to so many things is just listen to the youth. Like in their anger, there's something under there that you just have to sit down and listen to.
There is, I remember I think one of the first times I really noticed what was going on, I was in maybe grade 6.
Yeah.
And it was the first day of school, so, the teacher's kind of laying down the law, like, you kind of figure out, like, is this teacher a chill teacher?
Yeah.
Or is it really strict? The French teachers were always super, super strict. And me, in school, I was always kind of timid a little bit. I was very loud, like, with my friends and stuff. But when a teacher came in, I was like, goody two-shoes, like, stay on their good side. This specific teacher came into the classroom, and some of the other kids had been, like, horsing around.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, you have to come to detention. And the whole class kind of erupted because there was like, Maya doesn't do anything. Like, what's going on? And she's like, you have to go to detention. So I went to detention, and she was asking everybody, like, why are you here? Why are you here? And the kids were like, oh, I threw a pencil or whatever. I did this. She came to me, and I was like, I don't know. Like, you tell me, sis. Like, what's really going on? And she said, I don't like your face. I don't like the way you're looking at me. You have too much attitude.
Oh.
And I was like, my face? And she was like, yeah, your face is like this. Like, it's too much attitude. And it was actually the other kids in the class who started speaking up for me and saying, that's racist. Like, you can't say that. And it was a big eye-opening moment for me where I came home to my mom and we had to have the talk. And that's when I started opening my eyes to, hey, I just remembered, like, a bunch of stuff happened. This has been happening my whole life. I just didn't know what it was. And when kids don't know what's going on, it really affects their mental health as well. Because if nobody had stuck up for me, I would have thought something is literally wrong with my face.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong? And you've been growing up with, like, oh, what's wrong with my face? Well, and you'll always remember that one teacher that said that to you.
That said, I don't like your face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but these situations happen where youth aren't as fortunate as I was to have people explain it to them.
Yeah.
And so their mental health suffers, their self-image suffers, and that's why I think it's so important to have these spaces for them, or to have more awareness for these issues, because then we can empower them after they come back from school. They come to this event or whatever, and they're empowered, or they hear poetry or whatever, and they're like, okay.
That's good, And I want to talk about your TED Talk.
Yes.
That was amazing to even...
Thank you.
I didn't even know Canada had TED Talks. I know it sounds weird, but, like, I always looked at, like, the American ones or the ones that do around.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I was like, oh, she was on TED Talk?
Yeah, so... So there's TED Talk, and TED Talk does other events called TEDx.
Yes.
So basically people can get licenses to run, like, TED Talk events in different areas.
Nice.
So U Ottawa Women had a TED Talk at U Ottawa. I'm not even a student there, but I saw the auditions for it, and I was like, this is my dream.
Nice.
Like, I have to do this. And I got the audition. I remember posting it on Twitter. I was like, please pray for me. And I guess I didn't realize, but people see TED Talk, and, like, that tweet got so many, like, retweets. And like, oh my gosh, you have an audition? And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have posted that, because if I don't get it, sorry, it goes back and deletes it. But no, I ended up getting in, and basically with my TED Talk, what I wanted to do was to empower other people to use their voice.
Yes.
And so I shared my own story, overcoming abuse and bullying in school and things like that. And around the end, I just said, like, what really got me out of those situations was speaking up about them and being vocal, even at times where it was very, very difficult. And through that, I was able to find my strength again and find my voice again, even though my voice was shaky at times speaking up.
At least you were speaking up.
But I was speaking up. And that's what I did for that TED Talk. And the impact was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I had a lot of girls come up to me afterwards. Some of them were in tears, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, this is what I needed to hear. And it just goes to show the power of sharing your own story, what it can really do.
And I feel like right now is the time, because everyone's sharing their story.
Yeah.
The truth. Even, like, with the whole Michelle Obama becoming.
Yeah.
It's just, and I like what she says, like, when she did an interview, she was talking about, we have to stop asking what do you want to do when you grow up? You're always involved in, you're always in the state of becoming.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're not just stuck there, you're always becoming. So I think it's like, it's such a powerful message that women are now, like, speaking up to.
Yeah.
You know, it's really good. That's why when I say TED Talk, I was like, oh, this is so amazing.
Yeah, no,
really
I
good.
definitely agree. Thank you.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So just to close off, I want to ask you, what advice do you have for people that are scared to speak up? Like, they're timid, like you say you used to be timid, like what do you say to them?
You know, in today's society, there's a lot of pressure to be perfect. When you look on social media and things like that, it's always the norm to show the best parts of your life. Personally, for me, what has really granted me my success is being authentic. And when you are authentic with yourself and you're authentic with your own history, whatever you've gone through, it takes the power away from other people who want to use that against you. And so what I would say to somebody who might be struggling with finding their voice, or someone who's not too sure if speaking out is the right thing to do, it is always the right thing to do. And it will come with battles and struggles, because we still have a lot of work to do in terms of making those safe spaces for people. But the right people will surround you when you speak up, and good things will come your way. As impossible as it seems, good things will always come your way when you do that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and also what you're doing is amazing, especially here in Ottawa. It's a definitely, like, we definitely need that, so thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll be here next week to watch the next episode. Thank you. You guys hear my phone?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl MayaSpoken. I'm here at the Be Bold Show. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and be bold.
1, 2, 3,